South Carolina. South Carolina is bordered to the south by Georgia. Roughly about 4 million people are here in South Carolina. Our capital is Columbia. I'm trying to keep it on a positive note, but since we're talking to Senator Obama, we have some problems in South Carolina that need to be dealt with. The problem with education, our dropout rate is crazy among our high school students. Not only that, but if you want to talk about politics, you want to talk about a state that has been controlled by the GOP for a very long time. South Carolina is a state where you have the Confederate flag flying on the state grounds. That's a problem, and it connotes for me a certain type of attitude that permeates the climate in South Carolina. Political climate, educational climate. We have a lot of issues in South Carolina. We need a change. We need something different, something better.
We know that sometimes our young men are led astray, but that doesn't mean we give up hope on them. And if somebody's giving them an opportunity for an education, if somebody's giving them a chance at a job, if somebody's giving them a chance at being a decent father, then they can live out those dreams. We have to empower them to grab that first rung of the ladder before they can start climbing up that ladder.
Thank you, Senator Obama, because what you're doing indirectly is you're raising up young men like me and other young people across the state who are eventually going to put this state on the direction that it needs to go in. And it's going to eventually get to the point where it's like either you get on the train and move for progress, or you get left behind. Oh wow, the family. Oh, the family. My family is probably your typical American family, but not in the Leave It to Beaver. Not from that standpoint. I grew up with my dad and with my mom, and my dad made sure I had everything I wanted. He really got me into books. He bought a lot of books for me and things like that. My mom was cool, but she died when I was 7, and my dad when I was 13. My biggest dream, honestly, do you really want to know? I am waiting for the day where I can pull into my driveway, the home of my dreams, and my sons are playing in my front yard, and they're playing football. And when I get out of my car, they run up and they hug me, and they say, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, we've been waiting for you to come home." That's my biggest dream.
Sometimes in order to get things right, you gotta go back to the foundation. Education, inspiration, one nation. For the red, for the white, for the white, for the blue, for your life, for your rights, for the light, for the truth, for the man, for the woman, for the child, for the dreamers and believers who can make a change now. The audacity of hope, the capacity to vote, the values of the family that we have to promote. All I wanna see is one nation, unified, one love, one dream, one team, you and I.
That is why we are doing so well, is because all of you are mobilized.
It makes me feel like it's okay for me to pursue my dreams, that I can be, smart, that I can speak to the issues, that I can be a change agent, and that my race has nothing to do with that it's because of my competence and because of my ability. So I look at him and I say, wow, if he can do these great things, and if he can be smart, if he can attend Harvard Law School, if he can excel and do these great things, then I know that I can do them as well.
How are you?
How are you, sir?
Stroman, Josh, so nice to see you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate all the good work you're doing, man.
Absolutely.
Proud of you.
Thank you, sir. I think I'm awestruck or something. God, I don't like that. Look at that one. Thank you for putting my story in there.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you still doing some school, man?
Yes, sir. Actually, I just came back from Harvard for the summer. Galbraith Scholars Program.
How was that?
Awesome.
You had a good time?
Yeah, it was real good.
I spent a little time there.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know.
I was in the library all the time, so I don't
Sounds like I had any fun. So how long was that program?
It was only for like a week from the 10th through the 14th.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did y'all stay in the dorm room?
The Charles Hotel. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
You interested in law?
Yeah, yes sir. I got a Kaplan scholarship to take the LSAT classes and stuff for free and stuff, which was really helpful.
Good. So did you already take it?
No sir.
And America's story hasn't been an easy one itself. It's filled with tales of those who risked and struggled and beat the odds because they knew that this is a place, perhaps the only place, where such triumph is always possible. You know, the other day we heard from a young man named Joshua Stroman, who's from right here in South Carolina. And Joshua, like me, never really knew his father. And when he was very young, his mom and stepfather both died from cancer. He was then taken in by family members who were involved with gangs and drugs. He experimented with that lifestyle for a bit, and his low point came when he went to jail at the age of 18. But here's the thing. Joshua decided his story was going to have a different ending. He began to find comfort in his faith. And when he left jail, he moved in with an aunt who expected him to behave well and study hard. And thanks to God's tender mercies, he did. And he's now at Benedict College. And listen to this, he will be president of the student council there next year. And then he just told me that he just went on a week-long fellowship up at Harvard University. And he's gotten a scholarship to take courses to study for the LSATs, so he might want to be a lawyer. Now, it turns out Joshua's here today. He's right here in front. Stand up, Joshua. Stand up, Joshua. That's Joshua Stroman right here. Joshua's story is a story we want to tell all across the country. It's a story of going through hard times, but overcoming. Joshua can't do it alone, and I can't do it alone, even as president. It's going to depend on the efforts of all of us. All of us are going to have to chip in. All of us are going to have to make an effort. All of us are going to have to be involved and engaged in this process. I look forward to all of you helping to make Joshua's all across this country. Thank you and God bless you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure, I think this message really resounded with a lot of people. I hope it's carried across the state. But it's going to take everyday people like me, like you, like everybody who is serious about what's going on in this country to say, hey, look, I have a role to play in this, to understand what role you play because we don't all play the same role, and to get them, just to get to working. Roll up your sleeves and get to working. Help to destroy some of those stereotypes that divide us. Help to cast a positive light on things that have otherwise been viewed in a negative light. And a lot of it has to do with attitudes too. So I don't think there's a simple answer to the problems, but I think it's worth working towards.
Talking about.